Download and upload more than ever before with an ultra-fast fiber connection. With 3 simple steps, you can be the one with an SLT fiber optic connection. Visit slt.lk.
Drug bust. Sri Lanka's largest heroin haul seized in Colombo. Regional tension. Pakistan Foreign Minister discusses security situation in the region with his Sri Lankan counterpart Tilak Marapana following Pulwama attack. Protecting war heroes. SLPP chairman says country must withdraw from the co-sponsored resolution with UNHRC. An opportunity for peace. Kim Jong-un en route to Vietnam summit to meet Trump. All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Sunday, the 24th of February 2019.
From Ada Derana, this is Ada Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Ada Derana 24. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to our top story tonight. Minister of Foreign Affairs Tilak Marapana says that Sri Lanka supports a peaceful resolution related to all issues within the region and added that conflicts and rising tensions were not fruitful for anyone. Marapana had expressed these views while speaking with Foreign Minister of Pakistan Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who had telephoned his Sri Lankan counterpart yesterday regarding heightened tensions between India and Pakistan. Qureshi had emphasized that his country fully supported dialogues for regional peace and stability along with Sri Lanka. He also praised Minister Marapana on taking the initiation to send a letter to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, expressing concern on the recent attack in Pulwama in Kashmir, where more than 40 Indian paramilitary police were killed in a bombing earlier this month. The attack, the worst in decades, has fueled tensions between nuclear-armed India and Pakistan. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, Professor G.L. says that if Sri Lanka is to protect its war heroes, the country must withdraw from the co-sponsored resolutions with the United Nations Human Rights Council. The Professor Pires went on to say that efforts made to investigate 11 senior Navy officials, including Admiral Vasantha Karanagoda, over crime allegations is a politically motivated course of action. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, Professor G.L. Pires, called on the chief incumbent of the Gatambe Rajopavanarama temple in Kandy today.
Geneva, Yotana, Raja Yotana, Adnavan said, Tapia Katrudam, some making late in Matita, like a lady, Kilani, Open Sarpe, cake in a veteran Lati, the big Balkan, they could be a Gatsat. Then I told you, to Guinea. Everyone recognizing the Southern Geneva, Yotana, not be
Professor Pires later responded to journalists who questioned him on what basis allegations being made regarding an attempt to arrest war heroes.
දැන් ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමා ප්‍රකාශයක් කළා තිබෙනවා මේ වසන්ත කරනාගොඩ ඇඩ්මිරල්තුමා ඇතුළු නාවක හමුදාවේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ නිලධාරීන් 11 දෙනෙකුට විතර විරුද්ධව යුද අපරාධ චෝදනා ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා කියලා. ඒක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් වැරදි. කොහොමද ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමා එහෙම ප්‍රකාශයක් කරන්නේ? ඒක නීතිපතිතුමාට අයිතිකාරය. ඉතින් ඒකෙන් පේනවා මේක දේශපාලන ක්‍රියාදාමයක් කියලා.
Now on to one of our headline making news. The largest ever heroin stock detected by authorities in Sri Lankan history was seized in a car park in Kolpiti, Colombo yesterday. The raid, which was carried out by the Police Narcotics Bureau and Police Special Task Force, led to the discovery of 294 kilograms and 490 grams of heroin in 2 vans worth over 290 million rupees. Furthermore, preliminary investigations reveal that a Sri Lankan drug kingpin living in Dubai is behind the country's biggest haul of the narcotic. According to the police, a large stock of heroin was discovered following a tip-off to the Police Narcotics Bureau last evening. The joint operation was conducted by the Police Narcotics Bureau in collaboration with the Police Special Task Force at a car park of a supermarket in Kolpiti. During the special operation, 2 suspects who had come in 2 separate vans to the location were thoroughly searched by the STF and PMB. One van contained heroin sacks that weighed 163 kilograms and 356 grams, while the other contained 131 kilograms and 134 grams of heroin. Accordingly, police had nabbed 294 kilograms and 490 grams of heroin during the operation yesterday. The 2 drivers, 43-year-old Muhammad Ajmer and 32-year-old Muhammad Rizvi, who are both residents of Keselwatta area in Panadura, were arrested at the location. The suspects were later produced before the Fort Acting Magistrate Lochana Abevikrama today. During the proceedings, the Police Narcotics Bureau sought permission to interrogate the suspects until the 1st of March under detention order issued for 7 days. Preliminary investigations into the incident revealed that the illicit drug trafficking was organised by a Sri Lankan drug kingpin currently living in Dubai.
හෙරොයින් කිලෝ 294ක් සහ ග්‍රෑම් 490ක් වූ මේ හෙරොයින් තොගේ වටිනාකම රුපියල් මිලියන 2945ක් පමණ වන බවටයි වාර්තා වෙන්නේ. මේ සැකකරුවන්ට ලැබුණු ආකාරය පිළිබඳවත් මේවා දිවයිනට ගෙනාපු ආකාරය පිළිබඳවත් පුළුල්ව විමර්ශන සිදු කිරීමට කටයුතු කරමින් සිටිනවා. 2018 වර්ෂයේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසියට හැකි වෙලා තිබෙනවා හෙරොයින් කිලෝ 732ක් සහ ග්‍රෑම් 129ක ප්‍රමාණයක් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න සැකකරුවන් 40998ක් සමග මේ අවුරුද්දේ මේ හෙරොයින් තොගයත් ඇතුළුව හෙරොයින් කිලෝ 520ක් සහ ග්‍රෑම් 762ක් සැකකරුවන් 6651ක් සමග අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන තිබෙනවා. වැටලීම් සිදු කරලා අපි නිකන් ඉන්නේ නැහැ. මේ වැටලීම් වලින් අනතුරුව විමර්ශන ක්‍රියාවලියක නිරත වෙනවා. උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් මේ වෙද්දිත් මහා පරිමාණ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය ජාවාරම්කරුවන් 24 දෙනෙක්ගේ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය වලින් උපයා ගන්නා ලද දේපල රාජසන්තක කිරීම සඳහා පොලිස් මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය කාර්යාංශයත් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවත් ඒකාබද්ධව වෙනමම විමර්ශන ක්‍රියාවලියක් යෙදෙනවා.
Meanwhile, taking to Twitter, President Maithripala Sirisena praised the efforts of both the Police Narcotics Bureau as well as Police Special Task Force today. The head of state also engaged in an observation tour at the Police Narcotics Bureau this morning. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasised that the current government has revived the situation for the Tamil community living in the hill country who were marginalised for centuries. The Premier expressed these views during an event held in Bogwantalawa today. The event to hand over 155 houses in the Bridwell estate in Bogwantalawa to the public was held under patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today. The construction project, which is funded by India, was an initiative under the Indian Housing Project in plantation areas of Sri Lanka.
Today we are handing over new houses constructed under the Indian Housing Program to around 155 beneficiaries in the village named after the late V.K. Valayan. Our assistance in housing sector is one such example of our special ties with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka houses the largest grant project ever undertaken by India in any country abroad. The total number of houses committed by India in Sri Lanka stand at 63,000. This is under the grant assistance, which comes to close to 50 billion Sri Lankan rupees. Out of these, we have already completed construction of 47,000 houses in Sri Lanka. Under the Model Village Housing Program, we are cooperating to build 1,200 houses in the southern province. This is in addition to the houses being built under the Indian Housing Program.
Kandukare සිටින ද්‍රවිඩ ජනතාව කොන් කල්ලා වැඩ කරේ. ඒක අපි වෙනස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව දකුණේ තව මේ වගේම නිවාස 1200ක් ලබලා දෙනවා. 2020 ජනවාරියේ තව 5000ක් පටන් ගන්නවා. එහෙම කරාම අපි ගෙවල් 25000ක් හදලා තියෙනවා. ඊළඟ සැරේ බලයට ආවම මීටත් වඩා හදනවා.
Early in the day, Prime Minister called on the Chief Prelate of the Malwata chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuavi Sri Sumangala Thera.
මේ නුවර පැරණි විහාරස්ථාන පන්සල්වල සංරක්ෂණය පුරාවිද්‍යාව එක්ක තිබෙන ගැටලු ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරා. මම සංස්කෘති ඇමතුමා එක්කත් සාකච්ඡා කළා. ඒකට වැඩසටහනක් යොදන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Yesterday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had also called on the Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Napana Premasirithera at the Hurikaduwa Sri Vidyasagara Piriven Mula Mahavihara Temple. Meanwhile, families of missing persons engaged in a protest opposite Nallur Kovil in Jaffna today. The protesters demanded authorities to take immediate steps to search for family members who were reported missing during the conflict period and charged that they have been making this request for the past 3 years. The protesters also asserted that they do not require the intervention of the United States over the issue. UPFA parliamentarian Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says the cabinet paper which allowed to set up an LNG power plant at Kerawalapitiya should be suspended until a comprehensive investigation is conducted over the tender procedure. Addressing a media briefing held in Colombo today, MP Gunawardena said that they suspect subject Minister Ravi Karunanayake had provided false information to the cabinet of ministers.
ආයතන දෙකකට එකිනෙකට වෙනස් මිල ගණන් වලට ටෙන්ඩරයක් ප්‍රදානය කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් රවි කරුණානායක මහතා විසින් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට අසත්‍ය හෝ අසාධාරණ ලෙස කරුණු ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමක් කර තිබෙන බව තමයි විපක්ෂයේ අදහස. කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට දැනුම් දීලා තිබෙනවා. මහජන උපයෝගීතා කොමිසම් සභාවෙන් මේ සඳහා අනුමැතිය ලැබිලා තියෙනවා කියලා. මහජන උපයෝගීතා කොමිසම් සභාව ඉතා පැහැදිලි පිළිතුරක් එවලා තියෙනවා. එවැනි අනුමැතිය ලබා දී නොමැති බව. දෙක මේ ස්වදේශීය සමාගමෙන් විදුලි බලය මිලදී ගැනීම සඳහා නිශ්චිත ගාස්තු චක්‍ර කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවට අමුණලා තියෙනවා. විජාතික සමාගමේ ඇමුණුමක් තිබෙන බව සඳහන් කරාට ටැරිෆ් මොනවද කියන එක ඇමුණුමක් ලෙස ඉදිරිපත් කළා නෑ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට. දැන් මෙගවෝට් 300ක LNG බලාගාරයක් ඉදි කරන්න ටෙන්ඩර් කැඳවලා බලාගාර දෙකක් සඳහා අනුමැතිය දෙනවා. ටෙන්ඩරේ දිනපු පාර්ශවයටත් දෙනවා, ටෙන්ඩරේ පරාද වෙච්ච පාර්ශවයටත් දෙනවා. විදුලි බල පනතේ 43 වෙනි වගන්තිය අනුව එසේ කරන්න නීත්‍යානුකූල අයිතියක් නැහැ. කුමන හෝ නිලධාරී පිරිසක් මේ කැබිනට් පත්‍රය සකස් කිරීම තුලින් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය නොමග යැවීමකට භාජනය කරලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒ නිලධාරීන් කවුද කියන එක පිළිබඳ පරීක්ෂණයක් කළා රටට හෙළිදරව් කළා අවශ්‍ය දනුවම් පැමිණීමේ කාර්යය කළා. අපි කියනවා පූර්ණ අපක්ෂපාත පරීක්ෂණයක් කිරීමකින් තොරව මේ කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම අත්හිටවන ලෙසට අපි ඉල්ලා සිටින්න කැමැති වෙනවා.
A trade union attached to the Lanka Sugar in Savanagala claimed that the government has failed to appoint a chairman to the company, which in turn has affected the production of the sugar and financial health of the company. Addressing a media briefing at the company premises today, Lanka Progressive Union pointed out that around 4,000 families who are engaged in sugarcane cultivation are in grave danger owing to the issue.
මේ රජයේ පත් වුණ දවසේ ඉඳන් සභාපතිවරයෙක් පත් කර ගැනීමට නොහැකි තත්යකට පත් වෙලා තිනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ සීනි ආයතනය විශාල අර්බුද රාශියකට මුහුණ පාලා තිනවා. දැන් අපිට ස්පීඩ් හදනවා. නමුත් විකුණ ගන්න බෑ. සීනි හදනවා විකුණ ගන්න බෑ. ගබඩා පිරීලා උතුරල යනවා. මේ මොලාස මේ ස්පීඩ් ටැංකිය උතුරල යනවා. ඒ නිසා මේවා විකුණන්න ක්‍රමයක් කියන සභාපති කෙනෙක් ඕන ඒවා විකුණන්න අස්සම් කරන්න. ඒ නිසා මේ විදියට ගොඩ ගැහුනොත් එහෙම මොකද වෙන්නේ? මුදල් අදුද්දේකට මුණ වනවා. ඒ මුණ පානකොට ගොවි පවුල් 4000ක් විතර මේක ජීවත් වෙනවා. එතකොට ගොවි පවුල් වලට වෙන්නේ මොකද? මේ උග්ගස් සුණු විසුණු වෙලා අවුරුදු ගණන් යනකොට මේවා පැණි නැති වෙනවා, සීනි නැති වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ උග්ගස් විනාශ වෙලා යනවා. එතකොට මේ ගොවි ජනතාව පද විනාශ වෙනවා. ගොවි ජනතාවට කන්න විදියක් නැහැ.
The parents of Manjula sailor who was abducted and killed made a complaint today at the office of Gaul Region ASP Asita De Silva over an anonymous telephone call which they received during a protest at Ratgama in Gaul yesterday. Now around 250 protesters comprised of relatives of the two businessmen who were reportedly abducted and killed engaged in this protest. During the demonstration, a relative of Manjula sailor had received a call from an unknown caller who had claimed that the two businessmen are still alive. The call had went on to demand $500,000 rupee ransom for their release. The mother of Manjula sailor meanwhile said that two police officers had come to their residence inquiring about the mobile number of Manjula's father. Officials attached to the Galle police station has already taken into custody 2 police officers in connection with the abduction of the 2 businessmen. Police had also summoned 5 other police officers to arrive at the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigations tomorrow. Let's now take a look on some of the stories making news across Sri Lanka. The traffic OIC of the Borala police station was critically injured in a hit-and-run accident in Bambalapitiya early this morning. The OIC was rushed to the Colombo General Hospital, where he is currently receiving treatment at the intensive care unit. The office of the police media spokesperson announced that the defender involved in the hit-and-run incident was discovered in a house in Batramulla this afternoon. However, the owners were not in the residence at the time. A foreign national who was critically injured by slipping off the Ravana Falls in Alla was admitted to the Badulla General Hospital. A 22-year-old German tourist who attempted to climb the rock next to Ravana Falls had slipped and fallen off the cliff. The incident took place at around 3 p.m. yesterday. Alla police is conducting further investigation. Registration process of all chainsaw machines being used in the country commenced on Wednesday. According to a decision taken by the Ministry of Defence on the orders of President Maithripala Sirisena, it is mandatory to register all chainsaw machines being used in the country. Bandarawala police say that they had received a positive response from its residents in the area and has registered over 150 chainsaws thus far. Registrations will take place until next Thursday at police stations island-wide. With that, we cross over to a short commercial break. Make sure you stay tuned on the other side.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Other Derana 24.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, says that it is currently working on a resolution law that will help quickly deal finance companies that get into trouble while clearing a backlog in legacy firms, including a primary dealer that became insolvent 10 years ago. Speaking at a media briefing recently, the governor also went on to reiterate CBS's stance on the sale of subsidiaries, sub-subsidiaries and investment properties, highlighting at no point of time did the central bank extend its assistance to an investor to buy the assets of ETIF. He went on to say that CBS was involved to ensure that there was a reasonable valuation from the perspective of the depositors.
In the case of ETI, I must tell you that in all these instances where there is a potential investor or a potential purchaser of assets belonging to finance companies, the negotiations take place between the investor or the purchaser and the board of directors of the company. The central bank does not get involved in the negotiations. The central bank's remit in such instances is to ensure that the value of the transaction is reflective of a good deal for the depositors. We are doing our best to strengthen our supervision and we've strengthened our regulations. For the finance companies, there's actually a very powerful law. The Finance Business Act is a very powerful law. And these are some of this resolution, etc. It's the first time that the potential of that law is now being drawn upon to take resolution measures. And we are going to develop a resolution framework and a separate act for resolution that will also come in. So all the time, we are strengthening our resolution. We are having a traffic light system looking at the viability of companies, and we are being much tougher. We are, we are increasing the capital requirement to encourage consolidation in the finance company sector, and we are being very strict. So we feel we are going in the right direction in terms of regulating these companies.
Afghanistan began exports to India through an Iranian port today as the landlocked war-torn nation turns to overseas markets to improve its economy. At the inauguration of the new export route, President Ashraf Ghani said Afghanistan was slowly improving its exports in a bid to reduce its trade deficit. The Iranian port provides easy access to the sea, while Afghanistan and India have helped develop this route to allow both countries to engage in trade bypassing Pakistan. Now, last year, the U.S. government granted an exception to certain U.S. sanctions that allow development of the Chabahar port as part of a new transportation corridor designed to boost Afghanistan's economy. Market analysts expect participants to adopt a wait-and-see approach with the earnings season coming to an end. During the week, the All-Share Price Index decreased by 1.21%, while the S&P 20 lost 1.68%. We now have Amanda Lukugamage from First Capital Holdings with this week's market forecast.
We expect the secondary bond market activity to increase with improved liquidity levels following Friday's monetary policy announcement, where the statutory reserve ratio was reduced by 1% to 5%. In the equity market, we expect the market participants to adopt a wait-and-see approach with the earnings season coming to an end. However, market is expected to see limited activity levels with moderate volumes.
An airliner flying from the Bangladeshi capital Dhaka to Dubai was forced to make an emergency landing following a hijack attempt. The Biman Bangladesh Airline flight carrying 142 passengers was surrounded by security forces at an airport in the Bangladeshi coastal city of Chittagong. Flight BG-147's passengers disembarked safely. Security forces say a man suspected of trying to storm the cockpit was arrested. The aircraft was immediately cordoned off when it landed at the Shah Amnat International Airport in Chittagong as police talked to the suspected hijacker. Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has departed for Hanoi by train today for talks with U.S. President Donald Trump. The much-anticipated second U.S.-North Korea summit is scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday in the Vietnamese capital. The departure, confirmed by North Korean state media, is the first official acknowledgement that the talks are taking place. Few details of the upcoming summit arrangements have been released so far, and it could take him at least 2.5 days to travel by Vietnam by train. Trump and Kim will meet in Hanoi 8 months after their historic summit in Singapore, which is the first between a sitting U.S. president and a North Korean leader, where they pledged to work towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. With little progress since then, the two leaders are also expected to focus on what elements of North Korea's nuclear program should be given up in exchange for U.S. concessions. Pope Francis has promised concrete action to tackle child sex abuse at the end of a Roman Catholic Church summit in Philadelphia. He said clergy guilty of abuse were told of Satan and pledged to face every case with utmost seriousness. He said that child sex abuse reminded him of the ancient religious practice of child sacrifice in pagan rites. The Pope also added that victims would now be the priority and promised an end to cover-up, saying all abusers would be brought to justice. The unprecedented conference called Protection of Minors in the Church was attended by the heads of all national bishops' conferences from more than 130 countries. They were handed a roadmap of suggestions on how to handle abuse, such as drawing up mandatory codes of conduct for priests, training people to spot abuse and informing police. Thousands of people are thought to have been abused by priests over many decades, and the church has been accused of covering up crimes around the world. Pope Francis is under serious pressure to provide leadership and generate workable solutions to the most pressing crisis faced by the modern church. On to some other international news, deadly clashes broke out in Venezuelan border towns yesterday as President Nicolas Maduro blocked humanitarian aid crossing from Colombia and Brazil. Troops fired tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters who attempted to collect and transport supplies. Human rights groups say that a number of people were shot with live ammunition, where at least 2 people, including a 14-year-old boy, were killed. The violence erupted after opposition leader Juan Guaido organized hundreds of thousands of tons of foreign aid at the country's borders and gave the government a deadline until yesterday to allow the aid to be brought into Venezuela or vowed to have volunteers march it in themselves. In response, President Maduro partly closed the country's borders with Brazil and Colombia, citing threats to security and sovereignty. But civilians attempted to cross in order to get to the aid stores, which included food and medicine. Amnesty International has described the use of firearms against protesters as a serious human rights violation and crime under international law. At least 150 people have died from drinking toxic bootleg alcohol in a northeastern state of India, the second such tragedy in the country this month, with many more hospitalized as authorities are trying to pinpoint the source and round up perpetrators. The Assam liquor tragedy comes almost 2 weeks after more than 100 people died from drinking tainted alcohol in two northern Indian states, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, in the worst such case in the country since 2011. Police have arrested 16 people so far. Deaths from illegally produced alcohol, known locally as hooch or country alcohol, are a regular occurrence in India, where many cannot afford branded spirits. In Assam, bootleg liquor production and consumption is usually found in and around the state's tea plantations, where it is consumed by poorly paid laborers. We have some sports news on the other side. Make sure you stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Other Derana 24.
India's cricket captain Virat Kohli says that India's team will stand by the decision of their government and board over whether to boycott the World Cup game against Pakistan. There are doubts the match will take place after Pakistan-based militant group took responsibility for a suicide attack in Indian-administered Kashmir. The two countries, India and Pakistan, are scheduled to meet on the 16th of June at the World Cup in England. Speaking to media, Indian captain had said that the Indian team and the whole setup was shocked and sad with what happened. However, he added that the team will stick by what the nation wants to do and what the Board of Control for Cricket in India decides to do. And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9. But before we leave, we would like to remind our viewers that Mahesh Johnny is up next with Showbiz Tonight. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Have a pleasant evening.